Hello, all. So, this is the continuation of our registration in SAM. So, we had a minor technical difficulty. I was recording again as we logged back into SAM after you submit your document. So, you would come back here to your workspace and then you would click this and then you would click continue to register. And this wouldn't say ID assigned, it would say pending assignment. And then you just click your company name again, and then you press confirm. I'm authorized to do business, and then they would give you a unique entity identifier. So my apologies that I could not illustrate that for you, but if you guys have any questions on that, please shoot me an email and I can guide you through that. It takes less than 2 minutes. So now that we have our unique entity ID, we need to begin the process of getting our cage code. So we have our ID assigned, but it doesn't say registered. It just says doing business as blank, unique entity ID. So we want to come to our workspace. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, you would log into SAM. It would look like this. Make sure this is sign out so you know you're logged in. You click here. It says workspace, profile. It would give you all this information. And then you could click here for ID assigned. And then you would come here, actions, view record, update. So we're going to update the doing business as at a later point in time. And then register. Unique entity ID, have that unique or entity available in search, and then cage code. So if you remember, there were 3 options. So we got the UEI. Now we are going to get the cage code. So we click select. Select yes if you're registering an official organization department. Nope, we are not. My entity is physically located in the United States. Next. No, the entity does not have a cage code and receive one through the registration process. Correct. For registration, you're required a lot of info. View a comprehensive guide. That's what you have me for. Enter relationship to entity. I am an employee or officer of this entity. I certify that I am authorized to conduct transactions on behalf of this entity. Loading, 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 taking its time as the government often does. This is the fun part. You have the following steps to complete: core data, assertions, representations, and certification, points of contact. So let's get into this awesome process. So you want to put your entity start date whenever the entity began. So I'm going to pull up a little document, or our document, our articles of incorporation, so that way I can see what it looks like. And I'm just going to put it on my other monitor here, which is not being recorded. It was filed on August 25th of 2020, so 0825 or 8/25 2020. Enter the day on which your business closes the fiscal year. For example, if you use a calendar year, until 12/31. So DLA's fiscal year ends October 1st, but our fiscal year, or at 2 lines, my fiscal year at NAMIAD, and for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to put 12/31. Just keep things simple. Congressional District, Florida, 2022. That's our district. If you had a website, you would put your URL, and then if you were a entity that had a large that was a large company and had a bunch of subdivisions, you would list that there. Then you enter in your address, this, that, and the third. Copy your physical address, because you're going to need to get a postcard sent to you to verify that you're a brick and mortar establishment and not an e-website. Consent to disclosure of tax information for NatCert. So you're going to need your tax ID number. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull that up. So I just went to our division of corporations. Typically, each state has a division or a website where they list all the all the companies that are filed to do business. Oh, you can't copy and paste. Isn't that great? So I just went there and I looked it up, and then I am typing it in now. So 2890564. Excuse me. Bless you, Damon. Taxpayer name. So this would be the person, or this would actually be the name of the company. So at Cert LLC, your physical address, type of tax year. So we don't have any tax history. This business hasn't conducted any transactions. Name of the individual executing consent. So that would be the person, or the president, the creator. In this instance, more than likely it would be you. You put your own name and then you put your title to list. So for him, we are going to put president. IRS consents to submit your entity for TIN matching. A one-time password will be sent to the email address listed on this account. Please note it may take a few minutes to receive this email. Do not perform any other actions with this entity until you have successfully submitted your one-time password. So I'm going to pause the video and wait to get that one-time password, and then I will enter it in and we will return. So they actually sent the one-time password within seconds. So I just pulled up the email and here it was. So confirm the password. So they just verified that we are legit. So as you can see, you're getting check marks as you go through each portion. Does another entity own or control the entity you're registering? No, this would only be applicable if you were a large company registering a subsidiary. And just to clarify, immediate owner means an entity other than the offer that has direct control of the offer. Indicators of control include but are not limited to one or more of the following: ownership, interlocking management, identity of interest among family members, shared facilities and equipment, and the common use of employees. So these are usually only applicable for large corporations. Are you a successor to a predecessor that held a federal contract or grant within the last 3 years? Answer to this question is no. This is if you were again registering another company that had succeeded a business that had done prior business with the government. So we're going to click no. Country of incorporation, United States. State of incorporation, for us it's Florida. Entity security level, non-applicable. Highest employees, non-applicable. Institution type, community development, domestic shelter, educational institution, not applicable. Nope, we are not a disadvantaged business enterprise. If you're a Native American type, you would enter that in here. I know I've had a couple consultations with some people that have been Hawaiian, some people that have been Alaskan Native. So if this is applicable, you would check this. Do one or more of these organization factors apply to your entity? Foreign-owned, small agricultural, limited liability company. There we go. We are not an S Corp and we are not a manufacturer. What is the form of your entity as defined by the IRS? We are a corporate entity and we are not tax exempt. Profit structure, we are a for-profit. Socioeconomic category, so if you were a small business joint venture, veteran owned. So in our instance, we're minority owned, we are Black owned. If we were a woman, or if we were, oh wow, they don't even have the HubZone certification here anymore. That's funny. I guess they're cracking down on that. So yeah, if you're veteran owned, economically disadvantaged, woman-owned, or community development, you would click that. So here you would just list some various bank account data. So I'm going to go ahead and enter this and then skip this for obvious personal security reasons. So we just entered in all our financial information. So here you got some executive compensation questions. In your business or organization's preceding completed fiscal year, did your business or organization, the legal entity to which the SAM record represented by UEI belongs, receive both of the following: 80% of your annual gross revenue in U.S. federal contracts, subcontracts, or cooperative agreements, or $25 million or more in annual gross revenues from federal contracts, subcontracts? So the answer is no if you're a new business. So you click Save and Continue. Proceedings is your business or organization as represented by the UEI on this entity registration responding to a federal procurement opportunity that contains a provision FAR subject to the clause in a current federal contract, or applying for a federal grant opportunity which contains the award term and condition. So if you have any questions about the FAR, all you have to do is just Google it. The government suspends or debars contractors to protect the government's interest. The contractor shall not enter into any subcontract in excess of $25,000 with a contractor that is debarred, suspended, or proposed for debarment. So this means, is your business or entity as registered responding to that contains the provision subject to the clause of the federal. So basically, this means, would you be doing? These have to do with being debarred and applying for federal grants, which typically we are not. So we've got our business, tax ID information, EIN, all the sensitive stuff. Boom. And then, oh, nice, they blocked that out so I can show you guys that. So your routing number, your account number, your lockbox number, all this good stuff. So you just want to go ahead and review this, and you want your entity to be displayed in SAM's public search results. You want people to be able to find you and verify you. So this is where we are going to pick our NAICS codes. So if you're not familiar, I would suggest that you either pause the video and familiarize yourself with the North American Industry Classification System codes, or figure out which of these NAICS codes you want to provide. So I don't mind showing you guys what the NAICS code is, because typically I will have the majority of people start bidding on the same thing. Most of my clients, I have no experience, I have them bid on the same thing. So we'll go to the NAICS code list 2023, censusbureau.gov. So it's a federal website. And then here you've got all the various NAICS, or the years that they've been issued. So then we will scroll down here, and then this is just like a table of contents and things like that. So there's forestry, lodging, hunting, trapping. So we're just going to do a little Command F, do some hardware. So there's hardware manufacturing. So we can even go ahead and we can do aviation. So there's even flight training aviation schools. There's advocacy organizations, clubs, fuels manufacturing. So actually what I think we might do is we'll just look up Two Lines Aerospace's NAICS codes, and then we will just So aircraft engine parts wholesalers. So we're just gonna primarily do because whatever you put your one code and it's your main one. So we're gonna do hardware merchant. That's what we're gonna do. We're going to do hardware merchant. Search for NAICS code. Why is that? Now I want to look up the hardware merchant NAICS code because that's important. Hardware merchant NAICS code. There we go. For whatever reason, I don't know why it didn't show up. So we're going to add this one. We'll add this one. We specialize in aviation, but take some time to familiarize yourself with the NAICS code that you want to work with, or the codes plural. So primarily, I would say hardware and other electronic parts and equipment merchant wholesalers. That's realistically what I would recommend that you guys as students and clients have. You really want to have this, and then you really want to have this because you're going to be selling hardware, and then you can always come back and edit this and add stuff. So me personally, I have, management and consulting services, and then we have some air charter stuff going on. We have a couple planes, so we have those, and then you can always just add a couple things that you think you might want to venture out into. Okay, we've already added that. So we're going to mark this one as our primary. I recommend you guys do the same, 423710. So then you've got product and service codes. So we will do, let's actually go into dibs and look at this really quickly. Oh, my apologies. Dibs. Come here. We'll search for RFQs, and actually what we're going to do, so we're getting ahead of ourselves, but we're going to come back to this. Make master car cage code 39428. So this is a bit of some advanced reverse engineering here. So we're searching by their approved cage code, and then we are looking at, let's organize this by NSN, or it already was, nice. So we're gonna come here. They have a bunch of hoses and stuff, but that's not what we wanna work on. We want to do the 5-3, everything that starts with 5-3. This is primarily what I'm gonna have you guys start bidding on, screws, bolts, low cost, low risk things. So we'll add 5305. So we'll add those screws. Whole bunch of 5305. Let's see, can we get some bolts? Can we get some bolts in here? 5306. Just want to add some bolts in there. Just some low cost stuff to get you started. You want to add some nuts. 5310. You want to add some nuts and washers. Let's see. We'll add one more for this kind of hardware. And then we'll do pins. We'll do pins 5315. We'll do some of that. So we'll add these. And then a bit more reverse engineering. We're just going to pull up a cage code that I know, that I'm familiar with, that sells a lot of their stuff on another website that I will teach you guys to use and find pricing on. So we're going to go to the 5.9s, back shell electricals, clamps. So we're going to go 5.935. Electrical connectors. We're going to add some of that because we want to sell some cheap electrical parts. And then let's see, a lot of 5.935. They got a lot of stuff, guys. As you can see, these are all contract opportunities that you guys are going to be able to bid on. So there's 248 contracts just for this cage code, not even for this FSC. So I just wanted to see if there's anything else. So there's 5.940. I don't really like any of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up PSC code for fuses. Or what we can do is FSC code. So 5920, we'll add a little bit of that in there. Fuses, arresters, absorbers, and protectors. Some low-cost stuff, just some fuses, some electrical covers. We want to be kind of cheap. FSC code for electrical switches. Do we already have some of that on here? Oh, we don't have the 5.930, so we want to do some switches. So we'll add that. So as you can see, I've just given you guys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's add one more to make it an even number of 8. FSC code for latches. Oh, sorry, not flatches. Latches. Access covers, bumpers, cabinet door, hinges. We can do 5340. Yeah, we'll do a 5341 just for some hinges. Always good to have a couple hinges. So this is just listed as hardware commercial, but hinges and latches are underneath here. So we'll add that. So now, you guys have 8 FSC or PSC codes. I'll explain the difference later on between product service codes and then FSC codes, which are federal supply codes. I'll explain the difference a little later on, but they're very similar. They can be used almost interchangeably. So here we've got, various NAICS codes that align with the kind of information, software, and websites that you guys are going to be selling to get your first award. And then a lot of people list the NAICS code of what they want to sell, 5, 10 years, 3 years down the line, but they don't think about what they're actually going to have to sell to get their feet wet. These are low risk, low cost things that you can get from commercial off the shelf websites. So we want to just do this. This actually significantly increases your chance, because when your PSC codes and your NAICS codes are aligned with what you're actually bidding on before you have any past performance, DLA is going to be under the impression that you know what you're doing, and they're going to be significantly more inclined to award a contract to you. So we're going to click Save and Continue. So we just entered our goods and services, so size metrics, annual receipts. So we don't have any money, so we're going to do 0. We have 1 employee, ourselves, and this is not required, so we're going to skip that. A valid value for, okay, I guess we have to. So this is the average receipt. So I typically tell you guys to do no more than $1,000 on your first bid. So we'll just go ahead and put 5,000. Let's just assume you guys will get 5 awards over the course of a year, which is lowballing it, but under promise, over deliver. So we'll put $5,000. Do you wish to provide EDI information for, so electronic data interchange? This is new. If you want to provide a value-added network provider. So we're going to skip this and leave it as no, because it's not required to do business with them. And this is new. I went through this process in 2021, so I'm doing it again 2 years later, and this is new, not required. So do you want to be included in the disaster response registry? I put yes for this. So we would like to avoid bonding just because we're providing primarily goods. If you want to get into services, you can get into bonding. The only reason I'm telling you guys to stay away from bonding is because for our company that provides us financing, they told us that they would be significantly less inclined to do business with us or undertake a project if we had to deal with bonding. Because in the event something goes wrong, then you're bonded, so nobody gets any money besides the bonding company, and the bonding company's stuck paying stuff out. So they don't want to work. They don't want to work with you because they're paying a lot of money, and then you're less inclined to do the job because you're not getting any profit, and is going on. Everything is going towards them. So when it says, "Do you wish to be included in the disaster response registry?" You want to click yes. Does your company require bonding to bid on contracts? You want to click no. Geographic area served. So we're going to do any state. We want to serve all all states within the country. So legal business name, that's our LLC, UEI. Here are our NAICS codes. This is our primary one, and then various product supply codes, annual receipts, $5,000. One employee. We want to be included in disaster response registry. We don't require bonding to bid on our contracts. Our geographic areas served. We will serve any state. So we have finished our core data and our assertions, and now we are at the representations and certifications. Who are the persons within NatCert for determining prices offered? So we're going to add a person, name, Tristan Cantave. So I have some clients who they're starting this, business venture with their partner, and one person's going to handle the business development, the other person's going to handle the pricing. So you just enter this and fill this out accordingly. Does NatStar LLC have other plants, facilities at different addresses routinely used to perform on contracts? So in the event that you register your primary address as one place, and then you have a warehouse or something separately, you would click yes to do that. I always recommend that you just list it as your house and just package out of your house when you're first starting. But if you are a company that has a warehouse in a different location, or they use a facility or a plant separate from the address that they have listed when they filed for their UEI, then just click yes. But in our case, it's no. So if it was yes, you would just have to provide that. Tax ID numbers in file. For products designated by the EPA and provided by NATSA, does a percentage of recovered material? So we're going to put yes. I mean, we don't sell anything that would be, I'm not going to teach you guys how to sell anything that needs to be designated by the EPA. Typically, you need to have somebody who's dangerous goods certified, or you need to get dangerous goods certified yourself to sell hazmat material, which is primarily what gets designated by the EPA. So we would just put yes. Or you could put vendor will provide information with specific offers to the government. And this is actually better because I have a couple clients who want to sell like propane and fuel and stuff. So we'll put vendor will provide information with specific offers to the government. Save and continue. Is NatCert LLC a small business concern that wishes to be considered for status as a labor surplus area concern? So we'll put yes. So I like this. When you click on this, it actually takes you to the FAR. So this provision applies to small businesses only. The bidder status of the labor surplus area concern may affect entitlement to award in case of tie bids. If the bidder wishes to be considered for this priority, the bidder must identify in the following space the labor surplus area in which the cost to be incurred on account of manufacturing or production amount to more than 50% of the contract price. So this basically has to do with if you submit a bid, we're actually just going to put no, but that basically has to do with if you submit a bid for a service contract, and if you're a small business, you would have a designation. You would basically have a designation making you more inclined or prioritizing you to win a contract because of the amount of labor required for the contract. Is NatStar LLC owned or controlled by a common parent that files its federal tax income returns on a consolidated basis? No. If yes, so this would be if you were owned by another company, again, so you'd put no. Our records indicate that there is not an active exclusion or any of NATS or LLC or any of its principals currently debarred, suspended, proposed for debarment. So this would be no if you're a new company because you haven't pissed off the government. In the past 3-year period, has NATS or LLC or any of its principals been convicted or had a civil judgment rendered against it for commission of fraud or a criminal offense in connection with obtaining, attempting to attain, performing a contract? So again, no, you haven't done anything illegal yet, and I hope you won't do anything illegal at all. In the past 3 years, has NATS or LLC been notified of any delinquent federal taxes in an amount that exceeds $3,500 for which liability remains unsatisfied? Please pay your taxes. Al Capone, one of the most notorious gangsters of all time, nobody could catch him, but the IRS caught him. The IRS will get you. Pay your taxes, please, before you sign up to do this. If you have any liens against you, please satisfy them. In NATS or LLC or any of its principals, is NATS or LLC or any of its principals presently indicted for otherwise criminally or civilly charged by a governmental entity with commission of any of the offenses enumerated in question 8? So if you've never been to jail, this doesn't apply to you. If you have, look at these FARs and determine if what you were convicted for falls underneath here. That could open a can of worms. Within the past 3 years, has NATS or LLC been terminated for cause? Have you ever defaulted, filed for bankruptcy? The answer is no. Please provide the name and unique entity identifier of each party. So if you were a JV with somebody who was in a hub zone, such as Two Lines Aerospace, for instance, then you would have to fill out this information, but that doesn't apply to us. But if you were, you would just fill out the information. Our records indicate that NATS or entity is not participating. And so this has to do with all the set-asides, so you can skip this down to yours. Our record, so we're not a joint venture. We're not SDV OSB. Does NATS or LLC provide any data to the government that qualifies as limited rights data or restricted computer software? If you were in IT or something, or you have goals of IT, I would put vendor will provide information with specific offers to the government. For us, we're going to put no because we're only selling hardware. So save and continue. Oh, joint venture question 11. Did we not answer that? Oh, none. There we go. Our records indicate has selected the entity stripe of corporate entity not tax exempt. Small disadvantage concern, so we filed yes. There we go. The answers below regarding your small business status other than small pre-filed based on your previously entered size standard information. So it's 500 employees or $25 million. If you have 499 employees and you make $50 million, you're a small business. If you have 501 employees, but you made $24 million in revenue, you're a small business. The naics for which you are identified as small are shown below. These answers are derived from the SBA size standards. I basically just broke those down to you. The naics shown are those you have entered. You may click the View More button to see your entity size status for any existing naics. If you disagree with any of you may return to the assertions and change your values there. The Edit button will return you to the what's the question? Oh yeah, yes, we are a small disadvantaged business, Black owned. Does NATS or LLC deliver any end products from the corresponding country of origin that are listed on the list of products requiring federal contract or indentured? So this has to do with child labor. Are you selling anything that's made with child labor? Put no. I know that there are some companies, I've had experiences or heard stories of some companies that have and they didn't know. There's a way when you submit in DIBS to kind of cover yourself, even if there's a possibility and then you don't know. But if it was yes, it's has NATS or LLC based on a good faith effort to determine whether forced or indentured child labor was used to mine, produce, or any manufactured product, determine that it is not aware. So if you checked and then they ended up employing child labor, you would just certify that you made a good faith effort to check and that you were unaware. No, never held any contracts prior, so this doesn't apply. Are any end products delivered to the government by non-domestic end products? So for our instance, we're going to do yes because we have relationships with, oh God, they're going to ask me to list it. Okay, so we're going to provide information with specific offers to the government. So for those of you that are booking my one-on-one consulting package and then have transferred over here, we have relationships with manufacturers in other countries, which I'm not at liberty to name right now, but they do manufacture a wide variety of things. So in the event that you had bid on something and you were a consulting client of mine, and then I knew somebody that manufactured it outside of the country, you would click this because you would list the qualifying country of origin or the country where it's made. Sorry, on a case by case basis. So just put vendor will provide information with specific offers to the government if that applies to you. If you are currently already doing business with the government and you just need me to refine your processes, or you have an award or something and you need some help with, and we may or may not employ a company outside of the United States to provide the material, you would just put yes. If you're only planning on providing American made goods, then you can just put no. Has NATS or LLC filed all equal employment opportunity compliance reports? So, I mean, you can put yes if you plan on having employees. I mean, you can also put no if you don't plan on having any employees. We're just going to put yes. I'm sure that at some point he will use his business to do something. And once you do start hiring people, you are going to have to fill this out. So we're going to put yes just for the purpose of him. Please choose one of the following statements that applies to NATS or LLC. So if you are going to employ affirmative action hiring practices, you would just press accordingly. So we're going to do NATS or LLC has not had previous contracts subject to written affirmative action programs requirement from the Secretary of Labor regulation. So they ask you about this in DIBS. So we're actually gonna put they have developed it, because as I said before, I don't know what he's going to use this company for, but I'm just registering it with the government for him. So whatever he chooses to do, I'm sure he will he will develop and file whatever affirmative action program is required of him as he starts his business. Does NATS or LLC provide maintenance, calibration, and or repair of IT, scientific, medical, and or office business equipment? If you do, there are a lot of you guys who've come to me saying you want to provide medical equipment or you want to work with IT. If you do, just put vendor will provide information with specific offers to the government. If yes, so then if you click yes, it opens up this whole can of worms. So we're going to save and continue. So as you can see, we've just got a whole bunch of FAR responses. Does NATS or LLC provide a service as described in... So let's just pull up this FAR window here. Oops, I want to close this. Oh no, I did not mean to do that. Let's close this and then open it again. Here we go. I don't know why I didn't just load in the last one. That was weird, but what was it? 22, 1003. So we're going to scroll down all the way to 1000. So here we go. Applies to all government contracts, the principal purpose of which is to furnish services in the United States to the use of service employees, except as exempted in this section, or any subcontract that tier under. This subpart does not apply to individual contract requirements for services not having as their principal purpose the furnishing of services. The nomenclature, type, or particular form of contract used by contracting agencies is not determinative of coverage. So because we were working with DLA, I know that he's not going to provide services. I don't provide services. I know that Two Lions Aerospace provided services. In the event that, DLA comes to me and asks me to provide some service, I would come back and edit this. You can do vendor will provide information with specific offers to the government if you do see yourself pivoting into the service industry, I just tend to stay away from that. I don't like bonding. I don't like relying on other people to do work that I'm not a part of. I would prefer to just hire employees that are in my warehouse. I can watch them package, ship, and bid. So yeah, I don't think I'll ever transition into the service world with my own company, Namyad. I know Two Lines Aerospace plans on doing so, and I know that we clicked yes for this one. Just keep your options open. If you possibly might transition, just click this one. Our records indicate that Nets or LC has registered the following FSC codes. Please provide whether the place of manufacture for each FSC code is inside the US or outside the US to edit your FSC list. You would do this. So we're going to do everything US. None of these things that I'm going to teach you guys to bid on would ever be made outside of the US. Does the total anticipated price of offered end products manufactured exceed the total anticipated price of... So we're going to do no, but this is in the event that you were providing stuff that was going to be manufactured outside the United States. This has to do with the Buy American Act. Is there a price discrepancy? Is it cheaper to get it outsourced? And then if so, they would want to determine by how much. So that kind of goes into a little loophole of how to bypass the Buy American Act, which I can explain in depth at a later time. But for this instance, we're going to put no. Not an inverted domestic corporation, not a subsidiary. Does your entity have any unpaid federal tax liability that has been assessed? So no, we don't owe any taxes. Has your entity been convicted of a felony criminal violation? Nope. Oops. Did NATSR either receive $7.5 million or more in federal contract awards during the prior fiscal year, requiring it to represent whether it does or does not publicly disclose greenhouse gas emissions? We didn't receive anything, so we're going to press no. Does NATSR LLC provide covered telecommunications equipment or services as part of its offered? Okay, so personally, I would probably put yes for this just because I know that this is an area that I would want to branch out into, but just to keep things simple and linear, we're going to press no for him. Does NATSR LLC use telecommunications equipment or services or service that uses covered telecommunications? We're going to put no. So because we're not manufacturers and we're not architects, we get to bypass this. So save and continue. Defense responses. Does Namian LLC wish to bid on or currently hold any DoD issued or DoD funded contracts? We're going to put yes, we want to bid on them. Does NATSR LLC anticipate the supplies will be transported by sea in the performance? No, they will not. We're going to ship them FedEx ground, make the U.S. government pay for it. Does NATSR LLC represent that the prices set forth in this contract are based on the wage rates or material prices established and controlled by FAR and do not include contingency allowances to pay for possible... Represent that the prices set forth in this contract are based on the wage rates or material prices established and controlled by a foreign government and do not include... No. We are not doing anything that's controlled by a foreign government. America first. Is NATSR LLC effectively owned or controlled by a foreign government? No. Is NATSR a foreign entity in which the government of a covered foreign country has ownership interest that enables the government to effect satellite operations? No. Is NATSR LLC a foreign entity that plans to provide or use launch? Nope, no satellites. Is NATSR offering commercial satellite services? Nope. Nope. Nope, we have no employees. Are NATSR LLC financial statements in compliance with generally? Yep, you've got to be in compliance with GAAP. I'm a major in business management and I'm minor in accounting. You better pick yes for this. You've got to be in accordance with GAAP or else you can get in a lot of trouble. Any business, but specifically when doing with business with the government. Review FAR and DFAR reps and certs. So these are all the FARs. The FARs, they get updated every couple of years, but I'm going to give you guys processes that are in compliance with these. I've already read a good amount of these. I've read the majority of the ones that have to do with the kind of business that we conduct at Two Lines Aerospace. I'm familiar with the ones that we're going to do, that I'm going to teach you guys. So all the processes that I'm going to teach you, and all the things we're going to put in place, the safeguards, they're going to be in compliance with these. So you guys can go ahead and read these if you like, but for the purpose of time, I'm just going to click this box, and I'm not lying because I have read them. So yeah, save and continue right there. Does NATS or LC wish to apply for federal assistance project program, or is NATS or LC currently the recipient of funding under any federal financial assistance project or program? So we're going to put yes, because in the event that you want to apply for like a grant or something happens, like the economy tumbles and then you need like, a loan or something like that, or a grant, just put yes. Mandatory points of contact. So accounts receivable. So this is the fun stuff. This is so we can get paid. So we've made it through core data, assertions, representations, and certification. So this part was actually what really tripped me up when I first started. This is what really tripped me up. And this actually is something that affects Two Lines Aerospace, and we kind of want to go in and change. So my father, Mike, he's the president and the founder, but we actually have my mom is the VP of operations, and we're about to hire an operations manager. But I'm the only guy in a company of 15 that does business directly with DLA. Everybody else manages an account. But I'm the only one that they trust to bid directly. So I'm the only one submitting bids that need requests for evaluations or constant contact with contracting officers. So I am in need of doing this with Two Lines Aerospace and revamping it so that way I can receive those emails. So basically, you just want to list yourself as the president or the CEO, founder, whatever you want to call it. So we're just going to put the name. Probably we'll fast forward this via editing. Email, Nat, cert. Let me find that email. Let me just make sure it's Natsert 041606 041606 at gmail.com. 561-827-7447. Oh, damn. So when I first started doing this, I entered in something incorrectly up here, and then I just used it to copy the entire way down. And I was just getting fleeced. So we got to change this. I just auto-populated the address. So I will probably pause the video and go ahead and fill all this out, and then meet you guys at the bottom of this page. So we just entered in all that. And then this is actually quite important. So register or update your firm's SBA profile, Small Business Association profile, in the dynamic small business search. So this is actually crucial. This is how, a lot of companies will find you once you start to begin doing business with various companies. So who should complete an SBA profile? Firms applying for SBA certification as HubZone 8A, joint ventures self-certifying as woman-owned, or not economically disadvantaged woman-owned. You realistically should enter all of them. So select register or update. So this takes you to a whole other. Where's the link for this? There should be a little link. Oh, I guess they don't. They changed it, but the link is here. So we're going to come here. Oh, wow. That's awesome. So we're going to go to the SBA and create a profile right now. So let's start your business in 10 steps. Nope. Sign into your FBA account. Let's do, we don't have an account, so we want to create one. Government contract. Let's see. Okay, I guess they're going to have us do it at the end, but create, why isn't it allowing? It says there should be a link. That's crazy. I guess it says supplemental page link is currently unavailable, and it says at the end you will be given the opportunity. So this website, the Dynamic Small Business Search, is actually awesome for if you want to look up your competitors and see. You can put their state, and then you can put the area code or the zip code, and then you can check to see if they meet any of these certifications. And then you can put their NAICS code, see what they're competing with you on. This basically just helps you really narrow down how many people you're competing with for certain opportunities, and then if you're losing, you can come here and check to see, what solicitations or what set asides you're losing on. What I really would like to do though is show you guys how to register for the SBA. So we're just going to do a Google search. How to register with the SBA. So here we're going to create an account. So this is actually crucial. We want to include this. "16 characters long. That is crazy. Let's see. Does this work? This is not 16 characters. I can tell you right now it's not. One lowercase letter, one uppercase letter, one digit, and one special character. I am going to create a password really quickly. So we are going to update that, and then we're going to just copy and paste this, put this in there, and then save that. So we're going to go here. I'm on my other screen that you can't see. And they send you an email, then you click activate your account, and then you sign in. So now we're going to come back here. So we just did that. So here you need your UEI. And then what you really want to do, you want to get your UEI, and then you can come back. So this is a catch-22. So it says put your cage code in, but we don't have a cage code because we're about to submit our registration right now to get one. So you can come back and then add this. But what you really want, so you want to just pull up Sam. You know what? I have my UEI number in an email. So you just want to copy and paste your UEI and put that there. and then you want to copy and paste your tax identification number, no spaces. And then I'm going to pause this to put in the bank account number. So we're back. So the account information you entered does not match your SAM.gov information. So it actually does. I just copied and pasted it, but it says, please note that if you've made recent changes to your SAM.gov profile, those changes must be first reviewed and activated by SAM.gov. So remember that we put in our core data, our bank account number, and it hasn't updated yet. We also don't have a cage code. So registering with the SBA isn't something that we can do right now, I guess, for whatever reason, because this link is not active. The government's constantly working on their domains and things like that. Things are always getting changed. Websites are always going from active to inactive for maintenance or whatever the case may be. So we're going to submit this, but please do register for the SBA. So that way your business can show up in the dynamic small business search and you can get valuable information. The SBA is actually pretty good, and you can get a whole bunch of loans, grants, subsidies. So it's awesome. But yeah, so we have essentially gone through that. So we're going to click save and continue. So this is the entity review. So we have made it to the end of getting registered in SAM, not without a couple hiccups. Even though I've done this 1.5 times, I've done it for myself, and then I say a half because I helped somebody throughout this process a couple months ago. It always changes. There's always new things. You always think you've got it figured out. So just review this. Make sure everything is correct in here. Everything is up to date. And then you want to press submit. To submit your registration, request a one-time password to be sent to your email address on your account. Please note it may take a few minutes. So we're going to request the email. We got another one-time password. We'll copy and paste it, confirm the password. So we have just submitted our registration. You have successfully submitted your entity registration. This registration record will remain in submitted status until all external validations are complete. This process is entirely free to you. It is free to register and maintain your registration in SAM. It is free to get help with your registration. What happens next? So the IRS will conduct a validation of your TIN. So this will take a couple days. You'll get an email from this. Then your registration is going to be sent to DLA. And then they're going to assign a cage code. This is free. This is going to take another 2 days, but it could take up to 10 days. Usually it is done in like 5 days. And then if the DLA cage team has any questions, they will contact the individual listed. The email will come from a DLA.mail address. Please tell your government business POC to respond right away, i.e. yourself. You're going to email from SAM when your registration passes these external validations to become active. So this is just confirming that you're active in SAM. While you're waiting, you can check on the status of SAM to see where your registration is. Remember, it's free. And then eventually you're going to get an email with a cage code. So this will probably take a couple days. So we're submitting it on June 25th. So I am going to go ahead and get started. I'll probably be recording other portions of the class while we wait for this, and then I'll come back and do it outside of chronological order. But that is essentially how to get registered in SAM. So I don't know if there's videos out there on this, but we have just recorded one. So thank you if you have made it to the end of the video. Good afternoon, all. My name is Day Cantave. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I am the senior government buyer at Two Lions Aerospace. I have been working there for a little under 2 years. I would consider myself a subject matter specialist. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm a specialist in doing business with DLA and specifically utilizing the DIBS platform. In a little under 3 years while working part-time as a college student and private pilot in flight school, I have done a little more than $2 million in sales. I've done $2.3 million exactly. And I've won 76 DLA contracts myself. Well, being an account manager for two other companies, I have also won them 23 DLA contracts, resulting in exactly 99 DLA contracts. That's actually a funny number. I never noticed that until now. For those of you who might have seen me on Eric Coffey's podcast or any other platform or found me on LinkedIn, thank you for joining. Thanks for trusting me to guide your business in the right direction. Without further ado, let's begin part 1 of Ignored to Award, winning your first government contract. So part 1, this is for companies who have absolutely no knowledge of doing business with DLA, don't understand anything. They're unfamiliar with the processes that are involved of getting registered to do business with the federal government. This is going to take a company that has no idea about anything, from getting registered with SAM, getting a unique entity identifier, getting a cage code, all the way to getting registered with DIBS. So I know I kind of just word vomited and said a whole bunch of acronyms and names that might not make sense to you, but bear with me. I will explain all of them more in depth as we get deeper into the course. First thing that everybody should do is go to Google and type in SAM. 3 simple characters, and you want to come down to this website, sam.gov, and you want to confirm anytime you're doing business with a government or using any kind of government website that it either has .gov or .mil at the end. And you also want to stay away from things like these. So here they try to finesse you or mislead you, and they put sam.gov in all caps, and then they put registration services. This is kind of an ad service that charges people to get registered in SAM. I think they're kind of a big fallacy, kind of fraudulent. I'm not here to knock anybody down or take away from anybody's business model, but this is all pretty straightforward stuff. And when you log on to SAM, as you see here, you've got this certification stating official U.S. government website, 100% free. So this is the official sam.gov website. It looks like this. So you want to click this button. Let's get started. Once you click accept, you must accept the U.S. government system terms assigned into this website. This is a U.S. General Services Administration federal government computer system that is for official use only. This system is subject to monitoring. Individuals found performing unauthorized activities are subject to disciplinary action, including criminal prosecution. So let's not mess around. You want to use SAM to make money, not do anything else that we should not be doing. So it takes you to this page, login.gov, sam.gov. So this is basically their conduit that allows you to sign in and log into your account safely. So we're going to go to create account. As you can see, it kind of auto-populated with my NAMYAD information. So we are actually going to be registering my brother's account. My parents were awesome, and fortunately, when we were all trapped inside during the 2020 pandemic, we were all taught how to make LLCs and file them with the state. We all live in Florida, so we all have our articles of incorporation or articles of organization for the state of Florida. So I'm going to be using kind of a fake email here. It is not cert. It's not fake. It's a legitimate Google email, but it's not the one that we are going to use in the long run for his company, but we just made it for the purpose of this demonstration. 041606@gmail.com. Select your email language preference, English. I've read and accept the login.gov rules of use. Submit. So they're going to send you an email. So I'm going to pause the video and then go to that email and show you guys my screen. So this is what it should look like. Login.gov, federal email address. Confirm your email. Thanks for submitting your email address. Please click the link below or copy and paste the entire link into your browser. This link will expire in 24 hours. Hopefully you are sitting down and just sinking your teeth into this and doing this all at once, and do not have to request another link within another 24-hour span. Create a strong password. Your password must be 12 characters or longer. Don't use common phrases or repeated characters like ABC111. For the purpose of this, we are just going to have Google suggest us a strong password. I don't recommend this. I recommend writing something down that you're familiar with, that you know, that meets these characteristics, because you will have to log in at a further point in time. Password saved. So I'm going to change that. So by the time this recording is live, that will no longer be the password for this account. Add another layer of security by selecting multi-factor authentication. We recommend you select at least 2 different methods options in case you lose one of your methods. So if you're a government employee, you have your ID, a physical device shaped like a USB, so you can use a USB, a list of 10 codes, text or voice message. We're just going to do text message for this instance. I strongly recommend you create a list of backup codes and do text message as well. That typically suffices. I'll send you a one-time code each time you sign in. 561-827-0245. So you would enter in the code that you get. You've added your first authentication method. You can skip for now after you do a second one. Agree and continue. Don't show me this message again. This basically just reiterates that Sam has changed from Duns, the Duns and Bradstreet number, to the UEI number, unique entity ID. I agree to the sam.gov user access terms and login terms of service. So we are creating this for my brother, not for myself. I already have one. Business phone is optional, so we don't need this. So we're going to skip this. So on the last page, let's see, does it ask us to? So request rule, optional. So this is not required. Know that if you need a rule, you may request it now. All fields are required to submit a request. So this is for companies that already have a UEI and are getting registered in SAM, and they might, have various employees that do various things. You might have a website, and then you might put in your UEI and then provide additional details. We don't have that. Everything's blank, so we're going to skip and finish. Register your entity or get a unique entity ID. This is what we need next, so you're going to get started. Welcome. You're about to create a new entity record. We will ask a few short questions to help us recommend the best option for you. I want to do business with directly the U.S. federal government. Select the answer that best fits your intentions today. Bid on a federal procurement opportunity as a prime contractor. This is what we would like to do. Next. Who required your entity to be in sam.gov? The federal government. So this is what we realistically want. You can get registered in SAM and just have a UEI but not have a cage code. You can get a UEI that allows you to get financial assistance, but realistically what we want is the all awards, so that way we can get this bad boy right here, cage code. Cage code is a commercial and government entity ID. It's a 5-character alphanumeric identifier assigned to entities located in the United States and its outlying areas by the Defense Logistics Agency. These are the guys we are doing business with. DLA CAGE program, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. CAGE codes are CAGE codes for entities located outside the United States and its territories. Assignment of an CAGE code is required for all non-U.S. entities before completing entity registration. I would hope for the majority of you guys that you guys are within the lower 48 or its U.S. territories. If not, I believe the process is the same for CAGE codes as well. But this is what we are going to do. We want all awards. This is, as it states here, the level of effort varies from just a UEI to financial assistance all the way to award here. So realistically, what we want is we want this one, the highest level of effort. Are you registering a government entity? Select yes if you are registering an official organization, department, or institution of a U.S. state, U.S. local, or tribal foreign government. If you are unsure whether you're, check with your government authorities to confirm. Each government determines for itself what qualifies as a government entity. Private companies with a public mission generally do not qualify. We are not registering official organizations, departments, or institutions. We are registering a private company. No. My entity is physically located within the United States. You do need a physical address when you are applying for a CAGE code because PO boxes, e-addresses, FedEx, UPS, or USPS locations are not acceptable for a reason that you will see later on down the line when registering with DIBS. Do you already have a CAGE code? No, we do not have a CAGE code. This is for those of us who have never done anything with the government before. So you're going to click no, the entity does not have a CAGE code and will receive one through the registration process. You would be registering the following: a business or organization for the purpose of all awards. That is what we like to see. We're going to press next. To register for all awards, complete the following sections. So we are in the process of getting a unique entity ID. Legal business name. So here is where the fun begins, all the awesome data entry. This is what we love. So you're going to enter in the appropriate information. Nat Cert LLC. Doing business as Nat Cert. Oops. Physical address. I'm going to skip this part because this is our home address. So here we resume the recording. So we just entered in our home address and our name, what we're doing business as, and we're about to validate our entity. The information you provide here will be used throughout the federal government. Make sure that your information is current and correct. I cannot stress this enough. I have had clients, I have had family members who have wanted to do business with DLA, and one thing auto-populated and it was incorrect, and now they are, a couple days, a week behind schedule because they had to come back and edit the information that they input within SAM. Here's what I just mentioned: no PO boxes or virtual offices. You need a physical entity. And you want to make sure you have a physical address, legal business name, and a start year. You can provide official documentation if necessary to validate my entity. So here would be something under the lines of an article of incorporation or organization within the state of Florida. So I have mine just off the screen to me here. You really need to make sure you have whatever documentation your state gives you when you file your LLC. You want to make sure you have that handy as you begin this process. I can provide official documentation if necessary to validate my entity. Awesome. We are searching millions of records. They found it, Natser LLC. Well, there's our address, so I'll probably have to delete that out. If not, please do not come to my house. I recognize my entity in the legal entities list. Private limited company. This is correct. Enter incorporation information, started in 2020. Our state of incorporation is Florida. We'll actually do start year could be year of incorporation, the year that you received your EIN. We're going to do 2023 just to keep things recent. You must attach one or more official documents that prove each of the items listed. A check here confirms you have provided proof of the required item. So here we are going to add our document. So I'm going to download mine. Articles of incorporation. And so I guess they verified it. Includes legal business name and start year in the same document. Boom, there we go. Entity documentation. Sam.gov will review your documentation and contact you if you have questions. Read this article to learn more about what happens next. Please do not submit any documentation. So here we have started the validation process. So I'm going to pause the video. And then once we get this email confirmation, we will return.